What's up, everybody? Good morning, planet Earth. This message is to everyone who is wondering the fuck is going on and how do I participate in this new economy. I know I've talked about this before and I wouldn't have believed it unless I was a member of the new economy myself. What is the new economy? We're not quite sure yet, but it's going to be remarkably different than the old economy. The way the last generation made their money is going to be very, very, very different than the way the next generation is going to make their money. And you and I are kind of stuck in between with a bridge from neither here nor there. And it's very interesting. It's going to rely not 100%, but dramatically on internet media, digital media, video, conversion marketing, and a global audience. I was talking to someone about my goals, and a lot of times I'm just figuring it out as I go. I have a general direction or an end goal in sight, and I talked about this, and I kind of, I couldn't believe the words were coming out of my mouth because they were so audacious, but it is what I secretly want to do through all of this shit. And I guess it was a testament to how comfortable I felt talking to this person. But I told them that I want to upgrade the global economy. I want to have a measurable impact on US GDP and the global GDP. Ooh, is he crazy? Is he not? He's definitely crazy, but it's possible. I see the path. I know how it can be done. And this little video is one stepping stone in a long journey that'll easily take me, until I'm 40 to figure it out and exit, if you will. I think we can upgrade the global economy to a dramatically new machine, something akin to the difference between a turboprop engine and a jet engine. I mean, completely different fundamental principles that create outsized impact due to compounding effects baked into the system itself. So what do I mean by all that? I mean, the old economy is kind of a turboprop. It runs off diesel, it's strong, it's slow, and it is a little dirty. It's spewing out. It's inefficient, and so it's not burning all the capital, if you will, effectively, and it's polluting. What I see happening is a global renaissance occurring in not only freedom of thought, which can be messy, but also, we now have all this infrastructure in place. We have all these inventions in place, and now we need to capitalize on them. And so the new economy I liken to a jet engine because it's going to function completely differently. It's going to be more effective. It's going to burn capital or fuel much more cleanly and effectively and create a lot more oomph because of that. So I want to get to a world where, how do I say this? Anybody can sell to everybody globally. That's really what I want to do. And if you deploy conversion marketing best practices, then you're on your way and you can do that. Anybody right now can start a Shopify store and sell Alibaba goods to anybody else on the planet. It's just a matter of testing. That is the biggest bug I've ever seen in my entire life. My God. That thing will suck you dry. Excuse me all, but I got a bug to kill. Thing had a will and testament. Good Lord, it was huge. So, I think we're on our way. I think a big piece of it is new media and monetizing new media, digital media. I know I've talked about this before, but by 2020, 80% or more, 81% of global internet traffic is going to be video, and ad agencies don't know how to monetize on that. It's going to be up to app developers and service providers to make that a profitable proposition for brands and individuals, and I think it's going to require, knowledge sharing. The a lot of the business, what would you call it, startup, best practices are in Silicon Valley, and they're propagating, but they're still limited to outside of Silicon Valley. Same way, a lot of the conversion marketing best practices are kind of hidden in the what do they call themselves? Internet marketing world, whereby people are solely selling products digitally. There's no brick and mortar presence. There's no face-to-face interactions. It's all done through traffic and conversion marketing, traffic generation, which I would classify as a branch, as a school of not philosophy, but a discipline under conversion marketing as a whole. And so I'm bootstrapping my startup live. You would not believe this. So, oh man, we moved to the perfect place, and I'm telling you, there is a path for you. God is real, and if you don't believe in God, then you have a lot more work to do in this life, because God is real, and it is a true testament to us belonging here on this planet. We're not some scourge, some scourge that needs to be wiped away. Sure, we have cancerous cells amongst us. Sure, we have a polluted environment. But in average, it's not that bad. Now, a lot of you might be in the shoes I was in a year ago, where I was broke and destitute and felt locked out of the economy. And there seems to be two ways into participating in the global economy. One is by invite, someone reaches out and pulls you in, and the other is by, maybe you could call it brute force, entering in your own path. I tried entering in my own path for years and years and years, but in the end, I found my little miracle was a person, a mentor now, a good friend of mine, reaching out and saying, "Hey, I want to give you a shot, kid. Let's see what you got." And I hustled, and I took the shot very seriously, because I've messed up a lot before, and I knew that this is certainly a little miracle. And if you are, the worse you are, how do I say this? The worse you are at something, the better you can understand the problems, and the more you understand the problems that you're having, in that field that you're having, the more you can add value and the more success you can have. So if you have a lot of interpersonal problems growing up, then you can really understand interpersonal dynamics, and when you make the declaration that you are 100% responsible for everything that's happening to you and everything that has happened to you, you can then take control and ownership of your situation, and now you know all the little deep nuances that people face in interpersonal relationships, and you can go on to add tremendous value. You could write a book that sheds light on people's problems where they have had no help prior. You can go start a company. You can start a family and provide, love and support that you may not have received. And you now know all the ways in which not to do something. And so I want to reach out to people who are feeling hopeless and lost. And I'm telling you, the worse your pain is right now, the more happiness awaits for you on the other side of total and complete personal responsibility. And there might be another way to go through it, but I'm telling you, I couldn't come up with a solution beyond. The only thing that finally worked was taking complete ownership, extreme ownership, Jocko Willink would say, of all the problems I faced. No matter how frustrating and unfair it seems, in the end, you will benefit from it. And it's just the most amazing things have been happening recently. So we found this place in Charlotte, North Carolina. I live in a fucking bamboo forest, Zen monastery. It's crazy. Okay, well, we saw it first, and we applied first, and guess what? Our credit score sucks, because 6 years of indoor farming destroyed my credit and, God bless her, the credit of my wife. And so now we're rebuilding that, but we're in no position to pass a credit score with flying colors. And so anyone in Charlotte that we applied to, any house, they looked at our credit and they're like, no thank you, these numbers don't match. Even though my income is great, the credit score is enough for some people to freak them out. And so this one pinged on Zillow. We set up a tour. We're the first people to see it, first people to apply. Turns out he doesn't even check credit. And after checking our references, he just took a security deposit. He took an extra month security deposit because of our poor credit. But here we are in this beautiful 2-bedroom, 1-bath Zen monastery. And then guess what? There's one other building or unit attached to us next door in our bamboo forest, and in that home we found ourselves a wonderful babysitter for our 3-year-old daughter. So now we have babysitting services almost on demand, and a sweet, sweet person our neighbor is. And the other day I saw across the street what I thought was a home put up a for rent sign, and my wife said, "Oh, it's for office space." I said, "Huh." And I call and I end up going today across the street in like a residential neighborhood. There's 2 office spaces available for like $400 to $500 a month. And that might sound like a lot, but when you're talking in business terms, that's not a lot for a business to have a office. And the guy's he's a really good guy, great employee. His employee's fantastic. I really want an office out of there, but I had a very experience. So I had a cash flow crisis recently. I got my first check from my client to my business bank account. It's the first check. It's a lot of money for me. It pays for my family's, all of our stuff, and then there's some I can put into the business. And I'm so excited because on, I think Thursday, the check's gonna clear, and I'm gonna have, for the first time in my life, 6 months worth of dedicated ad spend and operational discretionary income, if you will. So I'm gonna buy a camera kit, and I'm gonna get an office, and I'm gonna spend all my money on ads to grow this training platform that I've created, which, by the way, this show is and always will be sponsored by Jet Engine Marketing. Download my free training manual for conversion marketing teams below. It's a small booklet, but it's about 60 or 70 pages and includes 9 checklists for tasks you're gonna have to learn how to implement as a marketing team. But if you implement these processes, you're gonna continuously improve your results because you'll know what to measure, know what to focus on, and know how to continuously improve your process over time. So it's gonna be foundational, and it's completely free, so click below. I'll get into all that conversion stuff later, but I just can't help but feel super, super grateful because, this check, I needed a bank account, and I couldn't start the bank account with poor credit at a handful of different banks. I went to 3 different banks. They wouldn't accept me. Finally, Bank of America said, as long as there's no wire fraud or bank checking fraud in your history, we don't care. Awesome. So finally, I got to deposit that. That was like a 3-week. I had the money in my hand. I couldn't access it. Because it has to go to a business name. It's written to the name of the business. And so I'm finally getting this check cleared, and we're gonna start, and it's gonna be awesome, awesome, awesome. But that little bit of time where I'm like, oh, I'm not gonna get that money until a week from now, forced us into a cash constraint situation whereby we forgot how ingenious we are, or how creative we can be when there isn't a surplus of cash in the bank account. And I realized how lazy I got because I had money to solve all my problems. And it's not life-changing money. It's not like I raised $1.5 million or $50 million. It's just an income, a good income. But still, it affected my mindset. And so now I'm gonna go back to the guy and say, hey, listen, let's change services. You don't need this to pay your rent. I can do your marketing. Why don't we exchange services for a few months and see how you like it? and that way I get to save some money maybe and help someone out and make a contact and uh, feel frugal. It feels good to be frugal. You don't realize that when you're expending too much income, you're almost expending too much energy. So I would challenge you to think about how much more frugal you could become. And I'm not saying by a factor of 100, but maybe 10%, maybe 100% more. I don't know, but think about it. It's really powerful, and it feels good. It feels good to not spend money when you don't have to. So, conversion marketing. It is the future. And right now, so I have that marketing training manual. I'm doing for myself what I do for my clients, systematically testing on looking for high intent audiences. I found one on Google. Google is a high intent audience, and I'm getting about 23% conversion rate on this PDF that you can click on below. And that's really high. I think 3 to 5% is average for landing page opt-in rates. And it's only one field, so it's just an email, but that's enough for me right now. And I also then had a 30-day training course that you could sign up for, and that was at like 19% conversion rate. And so I was thinking, okay, I want to give away everything for free. That's my natural impulse, but I also need to be able to pay for someone to replace me in managing the ads, writing the next version of the ebook, graphic design, designing the cover, making the training videos, hosting the training videos, all the software that goes into it. The software is not cheap. It's at least $100 a month for good landing page software. And so you have to pay for something if you want it to scale, because you have to be able to invest in something in order to take the profits and grow it the next month or the next quarter or the next year. So you can't give away everything for free. And so I was thinking, I tested a couple, I got these two offers that are high converting, and I'm wondering, where do I place them on the customer journey, if you will, so that I get the maximum or the lowest cost per lead, and eventually sell this training or this training community that I'm developing. And I don't exactly know what is going to be in the training community. All I know is that I have this knowledge that people value and they pay for elsewhere, up to $2,200 for marketing certification. And I want recurring revenues so I can take that, I can have a stable cash flow as a business, but I could take that money and put it into software development, so I don't need investors if I don't want to. And then in between is this product that I need to figure out what's going to be valuable enough to sell. I looked at if you take the $2,250 that it costs for another competitor's training program, and you divide that by 12, and you say, okay, it's a monthly fee now for training membership, that puts it at like $189, $190. And I'm thinking to myself, mine is far superior. It's not just what is SEO, it's not just a primer on these terms that people use, it's the actual tactics and strategies that I use to train marketing teams, set up processes, and execute marketing programs in a continuously improving fashion in enterprise or medium-sized businesses selling into the enterprise space. And these are $70 million a year companies, and they have considerable marketing budgets, and they need to know where to put them. So how do you go about, what's your social media strategy, people would say. Well, I don't think of it that way. I think of it as, where are we going to build a social community around us? What kind of content do we need to create? What are the tools we need to make that content? Where do we place that content? How do we know? How do we find out where to place that content? How do we know how to position our content? How do we know what offers to provide to build our email lists? How do we build prospecting lists? How do we vet marketing technology? How do we set up an SEO, search engine optimized blog? How do we do all these things that everyone knows they need to do, but there's simply too many ways to do them for anyone to know the single best way? What I think I've found is the framework for always understanding and finding the single best way for your business to do that. And that's what I'm teaching in this training manual. It's all about conversion marketing for teams. And then, so what I'm doing now, and I'm testing, and I'm interested to see how it works, is I am giving away the PDF manual for free. And if you opt in, you get to get conversion marketing certified for $5. It's a 1 month, 30 video course, and there'll be a quiz at the end that if you pass, you'll be, and you can retake it as many times as you want, you will be conversion marketing optimized. I've also did a quick search last night on the USPTO website, Patent and Trade Office. Is that it? For trademark for. Well, I'm not gonna say it until I get the trademark issue. But this will be a cool trademark that everyone will be able to understand that you're certified as a conversion marketer. And then I'm thinking, well, okay, so then, because typically you can give away something for free, build your email list, but then to filter between this big email list of free subscribers and your smaller email list of fully paid subscribers, so the people you're trying to sell your main product to, you need a filter. And so there's a term out there called a tripwire offer, or something you can offer that's like under $50, that's super interesting to people who have opted in for free, and would then tell you, well, these people are willing to take out their credit card, they're serious buyers, and then you can sell your main product to them and not waste talking about your main product to people who aren't even, willing to download something for free, let alone pay $5 or whatever. So I was giving away my training certification course for free, and I said, there's a lot of value here, and I'm not even done filming it. It takes forever. I'm only doing it a week at a time. It takes forever to, a 10-minute video. It's an hour of teaching and then cutting up and posting and sharing and putting in descriptions and 6 videos, like a whole thing. And there's a lot of value there. I mean, it literally will teach you how to become a conversion marketer. If you follow the guidelines and these laid out in this course, then you're literally better off than taking a $2,200 course. I guarantee it. I fucking promise you. It's like no joke. So I said, what if I offer that as a tripwire, And so now when there's a funnel I created, a process, an engine I call it, but most people call them funnels, where you get the PDF for free. And if you click below, you may or may not see it depending on when you click on it. And then once you opt in, it takes you to a sales page where I sell you the $5 30-day training course. It's unbelievable value, and I think what I'll do is provide it maybe lifetime access to the training course. Just make it like super valuable. I'll do it for $5 a month to get lifetime access, just to get people in my circle, from marketing lead to sales lead, right? And then those people that are willing to pay $5, they are the ones who, not only want this serious information, but are valuing the structure I'm providing. I think if they pay $5, they care about learning about this content. And so if they're willing to do that, a portion of them will convert into my $50 a month training course. And right now, I can't tell if $50 a month is too high or too low. It's way lower than what other people are. It's way lower than what these certification programs are providing. I think it's worth like $250 to $500, especially if you have a whole team using it, but I don't know if I'm there yet. And on the other hand, you can get something else that's positioned similarly for $30 a month, but it doesn't help. It teaches you how to be a marketer, not how to create a marketing team, or how to think about marketing in the team context, which is really where the money is at and where the professional marketers always end up. And even if you're a team of one, if you're working at a company, you should be using freelancers and vendors to have a little team of your own, manage a team of your own. So I really think of it in terms of leadership. And why did I pick $5? It was like, I'm like, let's do 90% off. Let's, I don't want to do $1 or $5 after the fee. We'll end up with a couple bucks in our PayPal account. And maybe what I will end up doing is pricing it for the cost of customer acquisition, so I can make back some of my money for every for all the marketing dollars I need to spend, so I can maybe try to break even. That'd be pretty cool. And that's another tactic people use. But that's what I'm trying on right now. Another interesting thing happened to me yesterday. I got back in contact with the Hollywood production studio. I gotta tell you guys, it's crazy. I wanted to do automotive work because I think there's a need for that. There's a need for good video advertisement there. I knew of a production studio that I had talked to earlier for something totally unrelated, trying to do lead generation for them. And I was like, oh, I know an automotive production agency. Reached back out to them. I mean, after being denied by these people like 3 or 4 times, literally, over the course of 2 years. Which reminds me to tell you, it doesn't matter how many times someone says no. If you're politely persistent, they are waiting for you to add value to their lives and their businesses, okay? If it's just like, imagine this is, you're a young lad and you're overweight and poor, and you go up to a beautiful woman who looks at you and says, no thank you, I don't want to date you, right? I have all these more interesting suitors over here. And because she's just getting inundated with requests. Well, you go and you make a bunch of money and you work out and you come back in a nice suit and you say, hey, how about that dinner now? Like, of course she's going to rethink her initial... Things have changed. The conditions on the ground have changed. They can always change just because you've been rejected. Now, don't annoy anybody, I wouldn't contact one more than once a quarter if they're clearly avoiding you, and also learn to move on. But if it's important, you can always revisit a previous no. Especially if you wait 6 months to a year and the atmosphere around your relationship is kind of reset. So I reach out to these people. I tell them they are interested. I say, great. I think this is finally something worth investing in a trip to LA to. So I say, how about I come out there next month? Here's the date. They say, great. My initial idea was to create a web show for the automotive industry because I thought I wanted to focus more on video production as a service, or provide video production as a service. And because I saw the opportunity in it and knew I could do it, knew I could learn the ropes, on the job. But so under the pretense of, hey, can I come out there and record you for our first episode of this show? I made a website and everything. They said, great, free press, and then we can, and then that was it. So I book it, I set the trip up, Hurricane Florence comes, my camera gear doesn't come in time, my camera guy bails out on me. He's supposed to be a fucking co-founder, he doesn't even show up. He's got free airline tickets and he doesn't even show up, and he lives in San Francisco, and it's just, oof, man. So he bails on me, no camera, no. I'm like, I booked the ticket, I booked the Airbnb, I'm going, man. And so I go out there, and I'm like, oh, what am I gonna say? So I'm thinking about, what I wanted to talk about after the shoot, I'm just gonna talk about before, because what else are we gonna do? And so I pitch him my idea, and he fucking loves it, and we agree to terms on the spot. Then I was busy for a week before I got an email back to them with the terms that we had discussed. And then another week goes by, or maybe 2, where I don't hear from them. And I'm like, either they're busy, they're cooling off the relationship to get a better position, or they're putting distance between me and them. And I'm like, Well, I think it went well, and I don't know, so I'm just gonna wait. And I reached back out. Anyway, I called them yesterday, and they're like, "Yes, we were just getting a show to some network, and a thing, like another crazy project, and we were super busy. I'm gonna take a look at your email, and we're excited to move forward with this. I'll get back to you this week when we can get a contract drafted." And I'm just like, oh my god, oh my god. Can't, don't want to tell you who it is off the bat. It's going to be so exciting working with these people because, and little tip, don't ever disclose the structure of a deal outside to anyone who's not involved in the deal. It's just bad form. You don't talk about your marriage with people who are outside the marriage, typically. Like the gritty details, you know what I mean? Who does what and when. Have some respect. But the terms are good, everyone's winning. We get business, they get services and business, and their clients come out happy. Everybody wins. Everybody wins. And so, I just can't believe that's happening. I can't believe that's happening. That's on track to be active first quarter by the beginning of next year. Looks like I got an office space across the fucking street from my house, which is crazy. Looks like I got my ad spend coming in, which I am just like, woo, over the moon. I am over the moon. And it's incredible. I can't believe it. I can't believe it. I'm not just getting started, man. I can't wait. So, thank you for the 5 people who have watched these kind of pre-run shows. In tomorrow's video, well, I'll think about it when I get there. Alright, everybody. Thank you so much. Pray for me, and God bless you, and God bless us all. Have a great rest of your day, everyone.